The Watcher secret ending is even more bizarre than the actual campaign. It all has to do with the rot, which is totally fine in, like, on paper, but in reality, it kind of falls a little short and just raises more questions. So let's start this. After completing the main campaign, I then noticed that at certain maps and on certain areas and everything, they would have a purple glow around them. Now, in those areas, it was rotting, like actively. Now, I noticed this way back in like the middle of my campaign, but I kind of just ignored it, so to say, because I didn't think it was that important. I thought maybe it was just kind of slowly taking over, or maybe just certain areas were rotted. It was really unclear to me, and it was pretty unclear to me all the way up until the end. Now, after completing the main campaign, and I realized that it had spread way more than where it was previously, I figured that it had something to do with the portals, because that was the only thing that made sense. Either that or it really was just a slow progression. So after exploring for a while and kind of just creating my own portals or hopping through portals, I really couldn't figure it out, because at this point most of them were already infected. So I wasn't sure if I was doing something wrong or if it really was just waiting. It took me maybe 2 hours of just kind of portaling around, kind of confused, kind of not, based off of what was and wasn't infected, and just kind of looking around, that I ended up back on the outer rim. Now, in the outer rim, I remember going all the way to the left, and the first time I went there, there was a little bit of dialogue and a little bit of rot. Then I went over there a second time at some point because it's kind of the only way out of outer rim, and there was like full on dialogue. I would hit these certain points and it would just be like, "Ah, oh, yes, the blah blah blah. It was forever. It tastes so good," or some shit. I have no idea. It did the same thing when I went over there. Keep in mind, this was 2 hours after just portaling around area to area to try to infect them. And when I got all the way to the top, nothing happened, right? And then I noticed that some of the rooms that were previously blocked off were now open, and I legitimately was just like, you know what? Let me try creating a portal in these karma flower rooms, which seemed like they had significance. I couldn't figure it out. I had tried this before, but I guess I didn't have the karma right. You have to have the effect of a karma flower in order to make a portal, because that's the only way it's quote unquote stable. This, I mean, we'll get to this in a minute. So I did. This took me to a random location that wasn't infected before, but because of the mod that I had, I could actually see the portal and everything, and I saw that it was now infected. So I went, oh, okay. So that is how it works. I have to create portals in order to make them infected, more or less. I was still a little unclear at some of the later points, but that is kind of the gist of it. Rinse, repeat, no. And then I retook the portal back to Outer Rim, which took me to that Karma Flower place that I previously created, and lo and behold, a shelter that was previously blocked off was now open. So it turns out that the more I infect, the more places I can go in Outer Rim. I say that because I already had access to the 4 pathways that you aren't normally able to go to. So normally like 2 or 3 of them are blocked off, and you're supposed to go to one, infect a bunch of places, and come back here in order to do it again. So I don't know, maybe it just kind of worked out for me that I infected so many places by accident when I was lost and confused as to where to go in the main campaign, that, you know, it just worked out here to where I could just go to each 4 of them. So that's pretty much all I did. Now, at some point after infecting more regions, I went back and decided to go back to the top because I was curious if anything had even changed, because I don't know, I just infected like 3 or 4 places and it didn't really seem like anything was happening. So when I went up there, is this what happens when the rot like fully consumes an iterator? Just without the actual iterator can? Very weird. Oh, what? Um. Yeah. All the fucking sudden, I see this. You look a lot like an iterator. What is that? I don't even know what to make of it. I didn't know what to make of it then. I still don't know what to make of it. I think it's a rotted iterator, or the rot is mimicking an iterator because it's in an iterator-ish structure. Or even if it's not because of the structure, it's just mimicking it because it I don't know. It's combined to the machinery. It's really confusing and it's also really cool. I like this sort of thing. This was by far the best moment. So now that I knew that there was something up here, I decided to go back down and continue in the last 2 or 3 rooms that I had. When I went in the third or second to the last one, and I infected I think 3 zones or something, I decided, okay, that's about what I did last time. Let's see if anything changes. Oh, Heat Dex is infected now. Good. When I go back up, all of a sudden, this occurs. Oh. Whoa. Okay. What the fuck is happening? What? I have more questions. Anybody has to say now before I go to the left side. Whoa. What? Fuck? There's sprouting karma flowers everywhere. Whoa. How does that work? Hi. What the fuck? He's sprouting karma flowers. What? Wait, what? Um, Whoa. What the fuck? Huh? That's it? That's the ending. I don't know. I didn't even infect all the locations. Uh in conclusion, strange. Really cool, but strange. I think it's a really tedious process, but I do kind of like it in the same kind of vein of like, for Artificer to find echoes. I mean, it's not really that different in terms of tedium. Very fascinating ending. And when you continue, it does remain as karma flowers, and there's karma flowers absolutely everywhere that's rotted. So this completely alters the landscape entirely and completely changes every single region to be more like the rot, which I both like and dislike. I kind of wish that wasn't the case, because the whole point of those new regions is that they're so vastly different and interesting. So to just kind of make them all the same color, gross palette, and rotting is a little lackluster. Now, I know they're supposed to be adding new content. They want to extend this. It's obvious that they did not get to finish this DLC. It is so apparent that this was rushed. Whether that's due to the publisher or not is, up for debate, but it kind of sucks. With that being said, I still very much enjoyed The Watcher, and you can go watch my rundown of it over here. I was more negative then than I am now, because it's grown on me. It's grown on me a lot. I do genuinely enjoy this campaign. Will I be playing it anytime soon? Probably not. I'm probably going to wait for a few quality of life changes. I've actually, you may have, like I said, I installed a couple mods that show like where the portals are and if they're infected. That is exactly what this campaign needed in order to be fun. So modders kind of already beat them to it. I would still like to see them implement it themselves, because obviously not everyone's going to mod, or they want the the intended playthrough. No, it needs it. It needs some clarification, because it is bad otherwise. It is too confusing. It's too mean.
Come with me, scavenger.
Otherwise, so with these mods installed, which I'll have linked in the description, I think The Watcher is extremely fun, and it just makes it so much more enjoyable to go places, because I already know I have to portal 3 different times. I might as well know where the portals are. There's no point in it not telling me. So yeah, with that being said, this is the secret ending. Very strange, very cool. Subscribe. This kind of looks like industrial complex, actually. Ow, I'm sorry. Damn. Corrupted facilities. What the fuck? Oh, it's one of you guys. Touch. Corrupted facilities. Is this just, is this actually just industrial complex? Because that'd be really cool. This looks identical to industrial complex. It is. It's so cool. Wait, so you can go back to the main map, at least in whatever way I just did. Can I go through the Karma Gate? Oh, hi. Yeah, it's so gooey. No, so it's blocked off. This is totally industrial complex. An infected version of it. How fascinating. Wow. You bitch! Oh. So is the rot good or bad? Like, I don't really understand. Alright, well that was the secret ending, I guess. I have more questions than answers. I don't know if there's more to this, or if just every area is now gonna be rotted karma flower land. Just kind of lame. I feel like it completely takes away from the whole point of it being about exploration and like all the areas. It just kind of kills it all. Like, okay, interesting that the main menu even changes though, to have a karma flower in the middle. That's fascinating. And I do like this little art. It's very cute. So many questions. Are we like an echo, or do we have like an echo's power? Like, is that what the invisibility and all that is? Because it kind of feels like that might be. Like, we talk to this echo, and they give us a gift, and this gift allows us to eventually transcend into a different realm. This shadow realm, the echo even says, like, this plane of existence, which is kind of what a lot of them say. So some part of me feels like maybe the shadow realm is the plane of existence that the echoes tend to go around. That's just what I'm guessing, because rainworld, woo!